When we heard the all clear, we would always rush immediately to the television and see where it was, what happened, and if anybody was hurt. אם נופל לנו טיל, כל השמשות עלינו, והדלתות עלינו, ואנחנו נהרגים במקום. On the first night, the missile hit about 1 mile away from us to one direction. On the second day, it was the same distance to this direction. It was all around us, as if we were the heart of something.
I think she was afraid too, I'm sure, but you couldn't see it on her. She was with her camera all the time.
נלך לראות מה קורה בחוץ. אנחנו כולנו מפחדים. I think the camera helped me, like a therapy, I don't know.
She's invading privacy with the camera, but what can you do? You are still with her together. You can't really throw her out with the camera.
I just told her stop and don't film me. She said, at this time, I'd rather be left alone and just sit and think to myself.
Gali was afraid. Gali was terribly afraid. And she didn't want other people to see the way that she reacted. In a way, you are with the camera, you're not with the family. In a way, it built a wall between Lee and us.
I don't think she invaded our privacy. I like being in a movie, somebody filming me.
For 6 weeks, we all slept in the same room together because we wanted to be close to the shelter. And it was like an adventure that we were going through together. They said, viper snake, viper snake. This was the alarm, viper snake. You just had to run immediately because in 20 seconds it would fall. Making the phone call from the sealed room or from the shelter was the most common thing that everybody did because people were immediately telling you, it fell here, it didn't fall here, this happened, that happened, it's not chemical, it's conventional.
Right.
And when we heard the all clear, of course we felt much better, but we never knew when the next one would come. I think the Patriots made us feel safer, but still, when we heard the Patriots, we knew that the missile is going to fall around us. And this was a moment that was not so pleasant. Patriot. 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 As the time passed, we started relaxing slowly and slowly. And it was very claustrophobic. It was small, hot, it was late, everybody was tired. There was a siren, and Adi was not with us. He went to a friend. It was the first time that I really felt tensed. And we were asking, where is Adi? He's at his friend. Maybe he's on the way home. Maybe he's in the middle of the way. How will we know? And then I got so mad that I started cursing Saddam Hussein. You know, screw him, this son of a bitch, this and that. Then I was really fed up with this war. This was the moment.
Yeah. Boom. Boom.
Then we found out that he was really at his friend's. And he called me and he said, Mommy, I saw the Patriots. Let's go and see it. Let's go see where it fell. And when we reached there was a lot of police and many people from all kinds of television stations. And somebody asked, who speaks English? And he said, I do. So they interviewed him.
Is this the first time you were scared?
Yeah, because I wasn't with my family. I was at a friend's house and was a little bit nervous.
Have you called your family to tell them you're okay?
Yeah.
You afraid of Saddam Hussein?
No. I want to kill him.
How many scuds were there?
I woke up, I heard the war is over, that's it. I ran to my mother, I said to her, that's it, the war is over. You missed it, you missed it. You didn't tape it on video. I felt so relieved. I felt so good. Suddenly, like, the house opens, you have air, you have light, and you have your freedom, which is the most important thing, that you are free to do again what you want.
We started out in Khobar Towers, which is in Dhahran, and we played maybe about 4 shows there.
Their first reaction to the live group coming to play was, what, there's a band coming? All right, you know, like, wow, let's have some fun there. And when the band got there, it was just like ape.
It was just a big release of frustration and energy that has been pent up throughout the war.
Dave, the guitar player, did most of the videotaping, but if we couldn't do it, if we were playing or something, then we passed it on to one of the soldiers or one of our escorts to do the taping for us.
Don't throw the water bottles from back there, please.
The general canceled all the shows because there was a big mess usually afterwards where they were throwing water bottles and toilet paper and things, so they completely banned the shows there. Then they started sending us out into the desert, performing at different places.
What'd you do, if your vehicle broke down, he'd be like one of those classic guys wandering the desert, you know, begging for water because it was really hot.
Did you just give him some water, Dave?
Yeah.
One more.
They rarely ever seen Americans.
Hello. Say hello to America.
Yeah, hello. How are you, America?
Rock and roll. Yes.
They gave us a booklet to kind of tell us some of the things to expect and what not to do and ways not to offend the Arabs. They told us not to take pictures of the mosques, especially you cannot photograph or videotape their women.
We'd go places and there'd be some maybe without their veils, and I'd notice their husbands nudge them and they'd cover up. Sometimes they'd reach up under that veil and pull something down over their eyes even.
The Middle Eastern music is very interesting. I like it, and we all liked it and listened to it, and you can't understand what they're saying, of course, but the music's great.
Are you supposed to pass it, guys?
Instead of bars, which they don't have because they don't drink alcohol there, it's an abstinent country, the men have these, like, clubs where they go to, where they smoke this tobacco.
Is it good, Eric?
It was like dried out fruit cocktail or something mixed up with tobacco.
What are you doing, Dave?
It's like the Surgeon General's nightmare. They bring each person a big hookah pipe, and you just sit there and smoke and drink tea or Coca-Cola, and you socialize and you talk politics and religion. We asked permission to go to Kuwait.
Where are we? Man, we ain't going into Iraq, are we?
Right there, it's gone.
I thought when I saw Kuwait that maybe one time it looked like Miami Beach, but it was looted and bombed and burned. You weren't really supposed to get off of the blacktop. It was really dangerous. There was still landmines and hand grenades everywhere, so it was still a dangerous situation, and there was reports of fatalities. It was really bad. It was very depressing.
The Iraqis had left a bunch of exploding hand grenades around that if you picked them up, they just went off.
A hand grenade.
Looks like a pineapple, dude.
Yeah, pineapple.
Whoa, I cannot believe it.
My personal policy was don't get off the pavement or the sidewalk. starting about the Kuwaiti border, it just was total devastation. Just about every building there had been hit.
You're really not supposed to be out at night, but we kind of like creeped out a few times because we really wanted to see the oil fires up close and get them on tape. It was horrible, but it was like an amazing thing to witness. I'm really glad that we got all of this down on videotape because I don't think a lot of people would have believed it. The danger and the excitement. The soldiers are the best audience you could ever want to have. We're always going to have this to remind us of all the great moments we had over there and the horror of the war.
The closer I got to the front, the less people suspected that I could possibly be a journalist.
Much of the news coverage of Desert Storm was controlled and censored and edited by the military, and that angered most journalists, including this man, Vaughn Smith. As a freelance producer and cameraman, he's covered conflicts all over the world, his way, without restrictions. So for this war, he took extreme measures to get the real story.
I'm a freelance cameraman, producer. I produce pieces for television. And I remember when Saddam invaded Kuwait, I was very keen to get out there and cover that story. I found it totally impossible to do this. I tried everything. I spoke to everybody. It was impossible for a freelancer to get there, and I thought that was essentially wrong. I was angry. It's my job, and I was being prevented from doing my job. I knew that the only way I was going to do it that I could think of was masquerading as a soldier. So my first task was to forge all these documents. I had an army uniform that I bought in a surplus shop, and I managed to get loads of different ranks, so I could masquerade as a captain, a lieutenant, even a major. I decided that the best way to carry this bluff out was to do it with absolute confidence.
I'm not embarrassed about being on film. You should be. I'm not.
I just bossed people around, and never occurred to them that perhaps I wasn't real. I walked into this airbase and found a vehicle that was going over to Saudi Arabia, and I just got on it. I was pretty frightened, actually, and, I thought, they're going to catch me, but they didn't. I went straight through, and I got right up to the front. I even went to a unit that was firing off these multi-level rocket launchers. I didn't realize quite how complicated it is, because you have to establish absolutely 100% where you are.
What's happening here now, sir, is the gyros are realigning, and it takes approximately...
A lot of time was spent initially finding our location and then typing in the coordinates for the targets that we'd been given.
740.
It was all very computerized. Suddenly the shutters shut. And we became completely isolated from the outside world because the fumes from the rockets are toxic. When they actually fired, the whole thing shook from side to side. The power of this machine I'm in, it was just extraordinary.
I counted it.
And we actually had a problem because the computer gave a readout that one of the rockets hadn't gone off. The guy was pretty worried then, and he actually got out. I had to act like this was normal. I did this every day, but of course I didn't do it every day. It's terrifying. Once you've actually rocketed an enemy position, the chances are that they will locate where you are through some electronic device, and then they'll fire at you. So it was important for us to get out and move. I stayed with this MLRS unit that night. I was sitting in the top of the commander's vehicle, And he told me, hey, if you look over there, it's going to start.
Should be firing soon.
I saw 6 completely different rocket launchers firing at once. I couldn't believe it. I was stunned by the noise, the ferocity of what was happening. I was much closer than I should have been. A small fragment from what's called the back blast came out and actually hit me on the helmet. Gave me a real shock. And I actually dropped the camera, which is why suddenly it goes kind of skew-with. I remember thinking at the time, what is the power of these rockets? What damage are they going to do when they actually land? And I learned later that every single rocket, when it actually hits the target, sends little shards of metal across the size of, say, a stadium. In this high-tech war, it kind of anesthetizes you to the reality of the war. I was more terrified that I was going to get caught than the war itself. You think, I'm going to be caught today, I'm going to be caught today, and you say that to yourself every day.
Hey, Sergeant Kennedy, you're on film. Look at the camera. So, when it's shown on the BBC World Service...
I was kind of fooling around, because I was a bit nervous. I thought he was on to me. So I was moving the camera up and down, making it seem as if I was just prattling around.
I can't stop laughing.
Gents, on radio silence throughout. To disguise the fact the Brits are in this area.
The British Army were getting on to me. I'd sat into a briefing, and at the end of it, they said, oh, and everybody watch out, because we've got a report that there's a journalist called Smith, they used my name, called Smith, who's essentially somewhere in the battlefield.
Obviously keeping alert.
I had to get away from the British Army, and so I literally picked up my bag and walked away. I went along this road, and this American vehicle stopped and said, you know, I've just had this accident on the main supply route. Could you give me a lift? And so he said, yes, terrible. Yeah, of course I'll help.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, not too bad.
Oh, you're an Englishman?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from London.
I had to be on my guard all the time because I was essentially odd. I was clearly different.
Where are you from? I mean,
I'm from London. I'm from the other brigade, but we're stationed here.
When they asked me what I was doing, I told them that I was a liaison officer with the British Army. I was terrified I was going to meet a real liaison officer. Fortunately, I didn't. That would have been very embarrassing. The American Army have a night vision equipment, and basically it's like a set of goggles. You can stick them up and you see at night. With these, I was able to film us moving across the desert into the attack. Carlos was the vehicle commander, and I remember filming his hand and then going up, and he's sort of biting his lip. He's worried. And we'd just received the order then, and we were going to be in the front of the battle. Now, perhaps he was a little nervous.
Real hot shot.
You heard the conversation between the gunner and the commander. They're deciding which target to take. What they've just done is they've destroyed an enemy tank. To cross the border, and I thought, well, this is incredible. I've actually done it. It was a sense of relief. The day the last bullet was fired, and I decided I'd better get back to London. I think my footage offers an insight to what it's like to be in a war, but more importantly, I think it brought into the debate the role for the journalist in war.
Set and all that kind of stuff.
There's got to be journalists in the field because when war comes, the first casualty is truth. I had faith in what I was doing. I believed in it. I thought it was worth it. And I still do.
Good morning, you're in the air.
Hello, Jeff.
Jer, what? Dad? Mom?
I understand you're from Ohio.
The idea for the flag actually came from Jeff, my partner, who came into work one morning and he said, hey, look, I got a great idea. We're going to the parking lot of Jack Murphy Stadium, and we're going to make the world's largest human flag. 3,600 of you guys wearing red, white, and blue T-shirts.
It just came to me because I knew that it was the right thing that would be simple to do, and it could have a big impact.
Even I didn't realize how big it was until I got there the next morning, and I looked around, I'm going, oh my God, what's going on? Is Guns N' Roses here? What happened?
Who got here the earliest?
We knew in the final design that we needed just over 4,000 people. We didn't know if we'd get it.
We stood in line for hours. They then gave us a T-shirt, either red, white, or blue. I was a white. And there was helicopters flying up above, and we knew that they would be taking the pictures from up above.
According to the San Diego Police Department, estimated crowd, 30,000 people.
I couldn't believe that what was just an idea 4 or 5 days ago was 30,000 people. I couldn't believe it. Well, it was important to people in San Diego because there were so many people who are in the service, who are in this town, and to us, it wasn't troops, it wasn't numbers, it wasn't headlines, it was people, it was our neighbors.
How many of you in the crowd right now have somebody who's a family member over there right now? A lot of hands up.
He's an air tech.
We went through the crowd of people and explained that what we were doing was making a video that would be sent to the troops in Desert Storm, and if there was anybody here who had a loved one that they wanted to say hello to, that we would be happy to record that.
This is Timothy Jordan Long. His daddy's never seen him.
I love you, honey, and I miss you, and I'm waiting anxiously for you to come home. Please be safe, and remember, we love you.
I was very shy, but I said, yes, I do. I have a brother over there. And they let me send him a message.
What do you want to say?
I want to say, hi, Kevin. I love you. Take care.
Good. Thank you. Coincidentally, my brother is in the Army. He's a captain in the Army Reserve. And the fact that my brother was over there brought this whole thing a lot closer to home.
It's getting dangerously close to picture time. What I can see now is I can see them passing out the stars.
When we sang the national anthem, and somebody had to start it, and the first thing you hear is my shaky voice going, oh, and then they took it from there. We just stood back.
I got no voice, but I don't care. Here we go. Oh, say.
It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. That many people coming together for one thing. And the first thing I thought was, wow, wait till the people in Desert Storm get a load of this. This is just going to knock them on their ass. This is great.
We sent my brother a care package and included a tape in the care package.
This is my brother that was able to help produce this. I called him in the morning. I told him that I was really proud of him for doing this.
While in the Persian Gulf, I know I watched it in Riyadh, and about halfway through, I just kind of choked up a little bit. It's just a tremendous song, and Old Glory is what we're all about.